Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in, and a warm welcome to all of you for our first live session of Tax Hacks. Before we start today's session, I would like you to click on the like button and let me know if you can hear me clearly. Also, request you to type in the city you're from in the comments box. Do spread the word to your friends and colleagues at work. Let your family, your friends, your colleagues at work know about all these sessions. There's a lot one can gain from it, wherein you hear it directly from the expert instead of depending on a host of information which is available on the net. Yes, we have some responses coming in, and now we are good to begin the session. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for sending your responses. Let me tell you a little bit about this initiative. At Future Generali India Life Insurance, we have launched several initiatives to reach out to our customers, to the community at large, in the form of live sessions, live webinars, such as Lock in Good Habits, Master Speak, and the recently concluded Doctor Speak. And since it's tax season, we've crafted some interesting sessions on income tax and several topics related to it. Our first session today is on a very relevant topic called deductions under income tax. So when it comes to tax, one question that comes to everyone's mind is how can one reduce the amount they pay as tax and increase their take-home income? Well, this tax session which we have today will cover all the various deductions available to save tax and how one can reduce the tax liability. The session today will be taken by CA Ms. Shikha Agarwal. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Shikha is an FCA BCom and has qualified as a chartered accountant in the year 2007. She has close to 14 years of post-qualification experience and is also a fellow member of the ICAI. Her past experience has been with prestigious organizations such as Vodafone, Tata Motors, Tata Steel, to name a few. She is a passionate entrepreneur and has started her own practice in 2010, and later she started her own firm known as VS Agarwal and Associates LLP, in which she is currently the managing partner. Well, Shikha has played an instrumental role in the strategic growth of the organization. While she is an active member of the Women Empowerment Committee of ICAI Ahmedabad, she has also participated in various events organized by ICAI, the Chamber of Commerce, and several other professional institutions. She has completed a certificate course on indirect taxes and concurrent audit of banks conducted by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. She is also associated with the examination committee of the Institute in professional capacity. So let me welcome CA Shikha Agarwal for our first session on tax hacks.
Thank you, Siraz. Thank you for the wonderful introduction.
Good evening, Ms. Shikha. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, I am audible. You are audible.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Thank you,
So,
Siraz, for the
first of
wonderful
all, a very
introduction.
warm welcome to you, ma'am. Thank you for joining our session on tax hacks. It will be very interesting to know from you the first-hand information on the various tax options which we have available for reducing our tax liability and also the benefits of tax filing our taxes and timely filing of our income tax returns. So I don't want to take too much time away, and I would like to hand over the session to you. I will just let you know about the flow of this session. Ma'am, you can take us through your entire presentation on the topic you want to cover. That we'll come back to you with questions from the audience. I would request all the people in the audience, this is your great chance to get all your tax related queries you have answered by an expert who's there on our live session today, CA Shikha Agarwal. Do type in your questions you have in the comments box and we'll address it post her session. So now over to you, Ms. Shikha, and I'll come back to you with the questions post your session. Thank you.
Thank you, Siraz.
Yes.
Is my screen visible to everyone?
Not as yet. It's not visible as yet.
Now visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
So friends, it's now tax season. The due date for the income tax return season is 31st December 2021 for individuals. All must have filed their income tax return within due date. I'll go through you the implications if you file with the after the due date. So this is the disclaimer that this presentation is to raise awareness among the people in association with Future generally. First of all, I would let you know that who is required to file income tax return. There are certain conditions. If you fall within this category, then you must file your income tax return. If your gross total income exceeds the basic exemption limit of 2.5 lakhs, if your earning is more than 2.5 lakhs in a year, then you must file your return. If you are spending 2 lakhs in a foreign trip, if you are depositing 1 crore in a year in a bank account, means a single PAN, if money deposited is 1 CR, then you must file your income tax return. Anyone is spending rupees 1 lakh on power bill, means you must have a business activity, or you even if an electricity bill of home, if you are generating, you are spending 1 lakh in a power bill, then you must file your income tax return. Anyone having bank account or asset financial interest in any entity, in an entity located at abroad, then also you have to file your return. For claiming income tax refund, means TDS has been deducted from your PAN, and to reclaim it you have to file your income tax return. And if you have generated any loss, maybe in shares or anything, on capital gain, so you have to file your return for future adjustment. A company, a firm, LLP is mandatory file your income tax return, whether they are having income or loss. I will take you to go through why you should file your return. What are the benefits? What are the consequences if you not file your return? First of all, you will get a feeling of a responsible citizen if you file your income tax return and pay taxes to the government, eligible taxes and to the government. Home loan, if you want to take a home loan, bank ask for last 3 years return of income. And if you don't file your return of income, then how you will provide to the bank that you are going to take loan. If you want to hold a credit card, then also bank require last 3 years of income tax return, through which they can judge your credibility. Visa processing, if you want to go to the foreign countries, you have to take visa. There also you require your income tax returns, last 3 years of the income tax return. You need to take term plan. It is a mandatory requirement nowadays who are earning to safeguard your family. Then also you are required to present your last 3 years of return and avoid penalty of rupees 10,000, means if you are liable to file income tax return and you are not filing it, then there will be a penalty of rupees 10,000, minimum penalty of 10,000. Now take you through the what are the income tax slab. In last budget, government has announced the an individual can go for two tax regimes, new tax regime and the old tax regime. I will differentiate here what is old tax regime and the new tax regime and how it is beneficial and for which tax regime you should opt for. These are the slab rate for the new tax regime. Up to 2.5 lakhs, it's nil, 2.5 to 5%, then 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%, and 30%. There are so many slabs in a new tax regime, which is not there in an old regime. And another important point in the new tax regime is exemptions and deductions which are being used by the taxpayer in the existing regime, means old tax regime, won't be available in the new tax regime. Means you will not be able to take the deductions under 80C or 80D like that, if we will discuss later on. These are the tax slab in the under old tax regime. They are defined and as per the age of the taxpayer. If the person is less than 60 years old, means not a senior citizen, then his or her tax slab is up to 2.5, no tax, 2.5 to 5 lakhs, 5%, 5 to 10%, 10 lakhs is 20%. There here, 10%, 15% is omitted, and above 10 lakhs, 30%. Additional 4% surcharge, health and education cess is always there. These are the slab rate for the person who are in the age of 60 to 80 years. Here, minimum slab rate is increased from 2.5 to 3 lakhs. Rest is same. And again, the super senior citizen who are more than 80 years of age, then the tax slab increased from 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs. So up to 5 lakhs, there will be no tax to them. And then the same rate of slab is carrying. Here I have shown a comparison of old tax regime and the new tax regime. So we always say old is gold. So yes, old is always gold. So I have given here the structure tax calculation. There you will see there is a tax benefit of 3,000 of if a person is having 10 lakhs of income, and if a person is having 7.25 lakhs of income, then there is a more tax. You would end up paying 18,000 if you follow the new tax regime, because you will not be able to take the deductions claims, which we are going to discuss in detail. So how these tax deductions are beneficial to you, so you'll get to know about it. These are the some exemptions which are available to salaried people. I know salaried people के लिए बहुत ही दुखदाई हो जाती है कि उनको anyways tax payment करनी ही पड़ती है. Then also otherwise taxable person also, a salaried person also can save your taxes through if you opt for these parameters. You should always opt for PF contribution. Your employer's PF contribution is always deducted from PF deductions, means it is eligible under 80C. You will get a standard deduction of 50,000 from your salary. House rent allowance exemption. There is a slab rate for calculation of house rent allowance. I'll not go in deep in this because this will also take another 5 to 10 minutes. Leave travel allowance, mobile reimbursements. There are certain amount of mobile reimbursement. You can ask your employer to get this mobile reimbursement in your CTC. Books and periodicals reimbursements, food coupons reimbursements, children education allowances. These are certain government given allowances, exemptions which are given to the salaried person, and the salaried person must ask for it from your employer to get it involved in your CTC. Now we come to our main part of the topic of the discussion, deductions under 80C to 80U. These, what are the deductions? What is deduction? Deduction is the benefit given for the investments or expenditure. Means you are investing your funds or making any expenditure in a financial year. These deductions can reduce your gross total income, which is ultimately on which you have to pay your taxable tax amount. Who can claim the income tax deductions? Taxpayers who opt to pay under old tax regime. Mind it, if you are going for new tax regime, then there will be only two deductions, 80CCD2 and 80JJAA, which we will discuss later on. Otherwise, these deductions are available to individual firms, companies, or etc. according to their sections and slab rates. How these deduction can help you to save tax? I have given here an illustration which can through which you can see that how these deductions are helpful to save taxes. Here I have given a gross income of 15 lakhs in both sides. Gross income tax deductions 2.5 lakhs I have taken. That if you are going in the new regime, then there will be no deductions. If you are going in an old regime, there will be deductions up to 1.5 lakhs is there on, and which may extend to 2.5 lakhs or 3 lakhs also, depending upon your expenditure. So here you can see there is a straightforward saving of 75,000 if you go for old regime and claim deductions under Income Tax Act available to you by the government. So now we will understand deductions in detail. There are many deductions available in available to you by the government. By investing in each of the expenditure investments, you can save your hard-earned money. ATC is the most popular deductions, which everybody should go for it, and always save your 45,000. Means if you are in a 30% slab, then you can always save your 45,000 by investing 1,50,000 in a specified funds, which we will discuss now. So ATC available to individual and HUF. ATCCC triple C means investments in pension funds. It is available to individuals. ATCCD1, it's a National Pension Scheme contribution and Atal Pension Yojana scheme available to individuals. These three sections, if we club these three sections, total available limit is 1,50,000 in a financial year. So, premium paid for life insurance policy. Everyone must have the insurance policy because life is uncertain. Everyone has seen in COVID. We have seen many deaths in our family and friends and nearby. So it's compulsory. It's to take the income, your life insurance policy, and even if you are earning, then term plan is also necessary. So premium paid on insurance policy of self means individual himself, spouse, or children, whether minor or major, it doesn't matter, is eligible, but premium for parents like father, mother, or in-laws is not eligible. Father paying the premium can claim a deduction. Father paying premium for son can claim deduction, but son paying premium for father cannot claim the deduction. Likewise, in HUF, premium paid for any member. It is not available only for the कर्ता. HUF में एक मेंबर होते हैं कर्ता, हस्बैंड, वाइफ, बच्चे. अगर HUF कर्ता के नेम पे, हस्बैंड, वाइफ के नेम पे या बच्चों के नेम पे, किसी भी के नेम पे प्रीमियम पेमेंट कर रही है, तो HUF को डिडक्शन मिलेगा. It's on life policy and endowment policy with the following restrictions. After announcement of the budget in 2013-14, government has put some restrictions. So how much amount you can get the deductions. Before, policies issued before 2012, 20% of actual sum assured means if your sum assured is 5 lakhs, then you will and premium is 1,20,000 per month per annum, then you will not be able to get 1,20,000 as a deduction. Only 1 lakh would be available as deduction. But in this scenario, but nowadays this is not the scenario. Means premium amount is not too much high. It's always below 20% or 10% now. So if your policy is issued after 2013, then it's 10% of the total sum assured, and 15% in case the person is disabled. If you are paying premium for the disabled person, then it's 15% of the sum assured. There are another deductions that ATC, if the life insurance policy holder voluntarily surrenders his policy and terminate before minimum years of holding from the date of commencement of policy, then the insured will not receive any benefits of the premium paid. There are minimum period of holding that for life insurance policy you have to keep the policy on for 2 years, and if you have taken any ULIP, then you have to keep it on up to 5 years. Otherwise, if you have claimed deductions of premium paid on earlier years, that will be taxed in the current year in which you have broken your policy. And there is another section 1010D on which sum assured amount and the bonus which is matured at the time of the policy maturity or in case of the death, it's all tax free to the receiver. Means you don't have to pay any tax on the matured amount or the sum assured which are given at the event of the death. But for the compliance purpose, the government has put in restrictions that the person who is paying, means the insurance company who is providing you the maturity proceeds, have to deduct 1% TDS if the maturity proceeds sum assured is more than 1 lakh. You can claim this 1% tax deducted by filing your income tax return within due date. These are some more investments which is qualifying investments under ATC. Premium paid for contract of deferred annuity. This is another new scheme by the government, Sukanya Samriddhi scheme, in which if you are having a daughter or girl child, you can invest under her name, and there will be a lock-in period of 21 years. You cannot withdraw the amount up to the age she attains the age of 21 years. So it's a good policy for the girl child. Contribution to Public Provident Fund, Superannuation Fund, Unit-linked Insurance Plan, Approved Annuity Plan of LIC, Pension Fund set up by the mutual fund or administrator of specified company, National Housing Bank Term Deposit, Additional Account under NPS, Senior Citizen Savings Scheme. You can also subscribe your NSE certificates, units of mutual fund, notified deposits, specified equity shares or debentures or units of mutual fund, notified bonds issued by the NABARD. These all come under the ambit of ATC qualifying deductions and of rupees 1,50,000. Investment in 5-year fixed deposit. Government or bank or post office also provide fixed deposit for lock-in period of 5 years. Repayment of housing loan. Principal amount means if you have taken any loan, housing loan from any bank and you are paying EMIs, in EMI there are two portions, interest portion and principal portion. The total principal paid during the year, including stamp duty or registration fee, is eligible under ATC. Means you are counting your 1,50,000, that will be added. This amount can be added. Payment of tuition fees means if you have any child who is in a school, college or university for full-time education, then the fees paid to the school, college or university is eligible under ATC. So keep those receipts in with you, and don't forget to claim these reductions. It's another section is 80CCC, the contribution made in NVT pension plan. The deduction can be claimed by the individuals, whether resident or non-resident. However, the pension amount received, including interest or bonus accrued on annuity, is taxable on the year of receipt. It's essential point, and it is noted that this 80CCC contribution is within the ambit of 1,50,000 only. You can also invest in NPS up to rupees 1,50,000. There are certain conditions that 10% of the salary if the person is an employee, 20% of gross total income in case you are self-employed. So there is a limitations of the amount, restrictions on the amount contributed in the NPS. And please note these section is also available in a new tax regime also. 80CCD IB. It's an additional income tax reduction up to rupees 5,000 for contribution made by individual. It's available for the individual only, not HF cannot claim this deduction to Atal Pension Yojana. But both self-employed or employees are eligible to avail this deduction. It's not compulsory that if you are employee, then only you can claim. A self-employed can also claim this deduction. There are two types of NPS, Tier 1 or Tier 2. Tier 1 would qualify for deduction, and Tier 2 would not qualify for deduction. Because Tier 2 amount you can withdraw, Tier 1 amount you cannot withdraw till your retirement. 80CCD2, it's again investment contribution. It's the employer's contribution to your national pension scheme. Employee can claim deduction if his or employer makes payment to employee's NPS account. If your employer is making payment to your NPS account as a salary, then it is also an additional deduction. So you can ask your employer to get this also in your CTC so that you can avail more deduction in your total income. There are again certain restrictions. Government has put restrictions that if you are an employer, if you are not a government, your employer is not a government employer, then up to 10% of your basic salary plus DA can be contributed by the employer to your NPS. Or so there is this is additional deduction which shall not form part of the 80C limit. Or if your employer is central government, then 14% is the basic is a slab rate. Section 80D, medical insurance premium and medical expenditure. कोविड के टाइम पे सबको अपना मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम बहुत याद आया होगा. जिसने लिया है उन्होंने थैंक यू कहा होगा अपने आप को कि मैंने टाइम पे डिसीजन लेके मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम ले लिया. जिन्होंने नहीं लिया होगा वो अपने इंश्योरेंस प्रोवाइडर को खोज रहे होंगे कि भाई मेरा इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम एक्टिवेट करवा दो, क्योंकि कोविड के टाइम पे बहुत ही सबको नुकसान भी हुआ, मेडिकल एक्सपेंडिचर भी काफ़ी करने पड़े, अभी भी करने पड़ते हैं. So this section is available for individual or HUF. Both can claim deduction. This deduction is also available on a top-up health plan and critical illness plans. If you are adding your sum assured through top-up health plans or critical illness plans, then also that premium is eligible under this section. A reduction of rupees 5,000 in a year is also available to you as a preventive health checkups. Government has given this that कि लोग अपने हेल्थ पे ज़्यादा ध्यान दें और डिडक्शन मिले इसके लिए ही हेल्थ चेकअप करा लें. There are certain conditions for whom you have paid premium and who is paying the premium. Individual and parents below 60 years. If you are paying for self, spouse and children, 25,000, and for parent, 25,000. Up to 25,000 premium, it's eligible. So maximum reduction you can claim under 80D if you are below 60 years is 50,000. If you are below 60 years, but your parents are of age more than 60 years, then your deduction 80D deduction limit would be 75,000 premium payment limit. So for self 25,000 and for parents 50,000. And if you both are more than 60 years plus, then it's 50,000 for both, means total deduction you can claim 1 lakh. And for HUF can pay premium for their member. Self is spouse and the children, means karta, wife and children, 25,000. And if the member of the family is more than 60 years, then they can claim 50,000. Non-resident individual also, there is the same limit, 25,000, total to 50,000. It's another section, 80DD, medical treatment of dependent with disability. Means if anyone in your family is disabled, then there is a extra medical expenditure you have to incur for them. The government has given you certain extra deductions to you. They have defined disability, means disability is 40% and not more than 80%. Then you can claim up to 75,000 of medical expenditure additional from your income tax, total income tax. And if it is a severe disability, means disability is more than 80%, then you can claim 1,25,000 from your total income. This is an additional 80 amount over and above of your 80D. Another section is 80DDB for special diseases. Government has announced that some of the diseases are specified diseases for which we are not sure कि इसका क्योर होगा नहीं होगा, एंड बहुत खर्चे भी लगते हैं इसमें. तो गवर्नमेंट ने इसको भी एक अलग क्राइटेरिया कर दिया है और इंडिविजुअल और एचयूएफ को ये ऑप्शन बेनिफिट दिया है if they are incurring any expenditure for the specified diseases for its senior citizen or other member, if they are incurring for their parents or the children or any family member, then there are extra deduction up to 1 lakh for senior citizen and 40,000 for others. But please note that no such deduction shall be allowed unless a prescription is obtained for such medical treatment from neurologist, oncologist, urologist, hematologist, immunologist, or any other specialist. So general prescription by a physician will not do here. You have to take up medical treatment from any of these doctors. Section 80E, interest paid on housing loan. Another relaxation who are taking loan for their own house. Its interest paid is already discussed, means up to 2 lakh of interest would be deductible under house property, and in principal amount of your income tax, your home loan would be available in the 80C. But this is another section of 80E is available to those who have taken loan for spouse, children, or student. ATE, I'm so sorry, this is a education income tax interest paid on education loan. Education loan has been taken for self, spouse, or children. Then interest paid would be deductible, and it is available for next 8 assessment years. Means you can enjoy this interest payment deduction up to next 7 years. Interest paid on housing loan means additional deduction up to 50,000 in respect of loan taken by individual to acquire residential property. There are conditions. If the value of house should not exceed 50 lakhs, loan taken for a house must be below 35 lakhs. Loan must be sanctioned by financial institution or housing finance company. Loan must be sanctioned between that period, means 1/4/16 to 31st 3/2017. And as on the date of sanction, you should not own any other house property. Then only this additional deduction of 50,000 is available to you. Means those who are having first home and the house cost is less than 50 lakhs, they can avail this additional deduction of rupees 50 lakhs, 50,000. There is another deduction in the housing loan is deduction up to 1,50,000 in respect of interest on loan taken by individual to acquire again residential house property. There is again conditions. The house property stamp duty value should not go beyond 45 lakhs. Individual taxpayer shall not be eligible to claim deduction under section 80EE. Means if you are taking deduction under section 80EE, then you will not be able to take deduction under 86 AEEA. And the taxpayer should be the first time buyer, home buyer. So first, for your first home only, which is below cost for 45 lakhs, then only you can claim deduction up to 1,50,000 of the interest amount. 80EEB is recently introduced, interest paid on electrical vehicle loan. Now in market, various electrical vehicle is came, so you should opt for electrical vehicle. If you are buying electrical vehicle and taking loan from bank, and the interest paid on that vehicle loan is eligible for deduction. The limit for deduction is 1.5 lakhs. Means your interest payment in a financial year is more than 1.5 lakhs, then you can claim deduction up to 1.5 lakhs only, and the loan should be taken from 1/4/19 to 31st March 23 only. So अभी भी टाइम है, 2023 तक कोई व्हीकल लोन इलेक्ट्रिक गाड़ी ले लीजिए और व्हीकल लोन के लिए एंजॉय कीजिए इंटरेस्ट बेनिफिट. 80G donations to charitable institutions. There are certain charitable institutions, government has given certain reliefs that if you are paying donations to charitable funds, institutions or relief funds, then there will be deductions up to 100% or 50% with or without restriction. Means donation eligible and for 100% for deduction without qualifying limit. Means there are certain funds like Prime Minister Relief Fund. If you are paying to those funds, then there will be 100% deductions without any qualifying limit, 50% deduction without qualifying limit. So there are various funds mentioned in this section that if you are paying to those specified funds, then there will be deductions. And the most of the charitable institutions that which government is not owning, the private charitable institutions, they are eligible for 50% deductions, and they'll be subject to 10% of gross total income. This new section has been introduced again. New section it is. Deductions for this is available to individuals with the following conditions. You are self-employed or salaried, anyone can claim, but you are not receiving HRA from your employer. You or your spouse or minor child or HUF do not own any residential accommodation at the place where you are currently residing, perform duties of the office or employment, or carry business of the profession. In case you own a residential house property at any place for which your income from house property is calculated, then you are not eligible. And to claim this reduction, you have to file a Form 10BA for payment of rent. एग्जाम्पल के साथ बताती हूँ, आप सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड हैं और अहमदाबाद शहर में रेंट में घर में मकान में रहते हैं, तो उस मकान में क्या आपको रेंट के लिए डिडक्शन मिलेगा? उसके लिए कंडीशंस है कि आपके पास और कोई दूसरा घर नहीं होना चाहिए, जिस शहर में रह रहे हैं उस शहर में आपके नाम पे, वाइफ के नाम पे, बच्चे के नाम पे, हस्बैंड के नाम पे नहीं होना चाहिए वो कोई भी घर। दूसरा कंडीशन है कि विद इन एनी वेयर इन इंडिया, अगर आपके पास कोई मकान है और उसमें से आपको इनकम अर्न कर रहे हैं, या आप सामने वाले घर को रेंट में लगा दिए हैं और यहाँ पे घर में रेंट में रह रहे हैं, देन ऑल्सो यू आर नॉट एलिजिबल टू टेक दिस रिडक्शन। इसमें भी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस है गवर्नमेंट के कि इसमें 5,000 पर मंथ तक की डिडक्शन आप ले सकते हैं, ये मिनिमम क्राइटेरिया है, और 25% ऑफ एडजस्टेड टोटल इनकम और रेंट पेड माइनस 10% ऑफ टोटल इनकम। ये कैलकुलेशन करने के बाद भी जनरली 5,000 पर मंथ का एक कैलकुलेशन ही नीचे बैठता है, फिर भी आप इसको कंडीशंस को फुलफिल करते हैं, अगर कोई एक घर भी नहीं है आपके नाम पे और तब आप रेंट पे करते हैं, देन यू कैन क्लेम दिस रिडक्शन। 80GGA डोनेशन टू साइंटिफिक रिसर्च फॉर रूरल डेवलपमेंट। आप कहीं साइंटिफिक रिसर्च करवा रहे हैं, कोई रूरल डेवलपमेंट में कहीं डोनेशन दे रहे हैं, but you are not having income from business or profession, then only you can claim deduction. इसमें कोई अपर लिमिट नहीं है, आप चाहे जितना डोनेशन कर सकते हैं, डोनेशन टू फॉर साइंटिफिक रिसर्च एंड रूरल डेवलपमेंट, बट कैश डोनेशन नहीं चलेगा। कैश डोनेशन 2,000 से ज़्यादा अलाउड नहीं है। कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन टू पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, 80GGB donation made by Indian companies to political party are eligible under this section. Cash donation allowed नहीं है। 80GGC donation made by individual, HUF, AOP, BOI or firm to any political party or a trust is eligible under this section, but again कैश डोनेशन इज नॉट एलिजिबल। ये दोनों सेक्शन सेम ही हैं, एक में कंपनी को अलाउ है, एक में अदर देन कंपनीज है, मींस इंडिविजुअल, HUF, AOP। ये कुछ सेक्शंस है जो सिर्फ इसके लिए ही बिजनेस पर्सन के लिए अवेलेबल है। सो आई विल नॉट गो मच इन डिटेल बिकॉज सैलरीज पर्सन के लिए ये सब सेक्शन काम का नहीं है, बट जो भी न्यू स्टार्टअप हैं या इस बिजनेस स्पेसिफाइड बिजनेस में काम करना चाह रहे हैं, उनके लिए ये हेल्पफुल है। काफ़ी अच्छा डिडक्शन स्कीम है गवर्नमेंट की। दोज हु आर setting up their business under industrial undertaking or engaged in their infrastructure development. 80IA 100% profit for 10 consecutive years out of 15 years beginning from the year of commencement means आपने अगर इंडस्ट्रियल अंडरटेकिंग्स में engaged in specified businesses, आपने इसमें इन्वेस्ट किया है, तो आपके 100% प्रॉफिट for next 10 consecutive years is exempt. 80IB आप SEZ डेवलपर्स हैं और SEZ में अपना यूनिट को लगाए हैं, देन आपको अगेन 100% प्रॉफिट पे 10 कंसेक्यूटिव ईयर्स के लिए आपको मिलेगा। 80IC, 80IB, these are again eligible for startups, company or LLP. Industrial undertakings means you have to invest in any business to avail these deductions. $80GGAA profits and gains of business for collecting and processing biodegradable waste. It's again for business units only. If you are processing any business under process of biodegradable waste, then 100% profit for 5 consecutive years. 80GJ AA. This is again available in a new regime also. Employment of new employees means you are employer and you are giving employment to another new employees. Then you can get 30% of additional employee cost for 3 years. 80LA. Offshore banking units or SCJ units. If you are investing in these companies, producer company, then you get 100% profit deductions for 100% profit for some years. 80 RRB, royalty on patents and royalty income of authors. So there is a limit of rupees 3 lakhs maximum limit, or specified if you have gained income of 1,50,000 from your royalty on patents or income of authors, then you can get deductions up to amount income received or rupees 3 lakhs, whichever is lower. 80 TTA, everyone is earning interest on saving banks. The government has given that up to 10,000, they will not charge any income tax on the saving bank deposits. So individual and HF can take deductions up to 10,000 under this section. And for senior citizens, government has given increased the amount of 50,000, and FDs is also included for them. Okay, if they have earned interest on savings bank deposit or fixed deposit, interest portion up to 50,000 is relaxed to them. Disabled individuals, 80U, another section. If they have normal disability, 75,000, severe disability, 1,25,000. It's 87A. It's another section. It's a rebate section. You can claim rebate up to 12,500 if your total income does not exceed 5 lakhs. But if your income exceeds 5 lakh, then this rebate is not available to you. So if your total income is below 5 lakhs, then you will not be able, you don't have to pay any tax. Income from house property. Interest on home loan means if you have taken any loan and you are paying EMI, interest portion on those EMI up to rupees 2 lakhs is deductible as interest on home loan for self-occupied property. It is shown as a loss from house property. Here I'll share a tip for you. If your housing loan is of considerable size, then must take joint home loan with you, with your spouse, parents, or sibling. This will make sure that both co-owners can claim in tax reduction in the proportion of their holdings of the loan. This can be claimed as a loss from house property to set off against salary income, even if you are claiming exemptions of HRA. Benefits of filing within due date. You can avoid penalty up to rupees 10,000. Returns can be revised. If you by mistake you file your income tax return wrong and you later on came to know that it was some income is shown, then you can revise it. You can carry forward of your losses. Interest on income tax refund. You get a full refund interest with interest from the government. Common mistakes which you can avoid while filing return. File your income tax return with right form. There are various forms in the income tax portal. Not reporting incomes from investments. Nowadays, government has come with the TIS and AIS, taxpayers information statement and annual information system in a statement. The government is tracking keeping an eye in your interest on income on investments. So must show your bank, even your bank interest income also in your return. Not reporting your exempt income in your ITR, not clubbing income of your minor child, not clubbing income of your last job, not reporting all bank accounts in your return, not declaring deemed rent or expected rent, failing to revise your income tax return, or failing to verify your return. After filing your return, you have to verify with your Aadhaar OTP, income net banking or OTP, or you have to send a signed copy to the Bangalore. Yes, Siraz, I am ready with, if anyone have any questions, can ask me.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are ready.
Yes. Fine. So first of all, thank you so much for a wonderful and informative session. It was really worthwhile to hear a detailed explanation on, the different tax saving instruments available under different sections, ATC, ATCCC, section ATG. Very interesting things you covered, like, if the father is paying the premium for the son and he can take the tax exemption, whereas when the son is paying the premium, he won't be allowed to do that. A very interesting tip shared by you on the housing loan aspect as well. Thank you very much for that. Yes, and we do have some questions coming in from the audience. I will just take few minutes of your time. So I will take the first question we have from Mr. Krishnamurthy. And
Okay.
his question is that as per the new guideline, the maturity and the surrender proceeds of a ULIP investment, which are over 2.5 lakh rupees, will they be taxable in ULIP? He needs clarity whether the entire proceeds will be taxable or it will be only the profits or the returns which are coming out of it would be taxable. That's his question.
Long capital gain. He would be having capital gain on that income.
Yeah. So basically, if the sum assured is 2.5 lakhs, will he be charged tax on that 2.5 lakhs, or only the profit that he's making out of that
Only the
sum
profit part.
assured?
Only
Only
the
the
profit. If
profit
he have
part.
got out of 2 lakh 50,000, he has got 3 lakhs. Then for 50,000 he will be taxed.
Understand, understand. I hope that clears your doubt, Mr. Krishnamurthy. We have a next question coming in from Deepak. His question is, if the premium paid exceeds 20% of the sum assured, is the maturity amount taxable?
For his life insurance, maturity amount is not taxable, but
Hmm.
sum assured, if the policy has been taken before 2012, tax limit is 20% of sum assured. Means premium amount deduction is 20% of sum assured. But if your premium is more than 20% of sum assured, then extra amount would not be available as deduction.
Understand, understand. Thank you.
Maturity proceeds would not be taxable, but the extra claimed amount would be taxable.
Okay, got it. Interesting question from Dinesh. What do you think about the tax rates in our country? Do you think they are high as compared to other countries?
It's not high. I would say that other countries also are having same slab rates, but I would say that other countries enjoy citizens enjoy some benefits which we are lacking.
Yes, agree with you. I understand. Another question coming in from Vishram. He wants to know if there's somebody who's under 18 years. In fact, we have so many teenage children right now who want to be entrepreneurs, and they keep doing different things. You see these Instagram posts, they're doing some cooking things, they're making some nice innovative things and selling. So when you do a business activity when you're under 18 years of age, does that person need to pay tax?
No, the minor child would not be able to pay tax, but it would be clubbed to either of the parents. Any of the parents would be clubbed. His income would be clubbed with any of his parents, either mother or father.
Oh, okay. So basically, the parent would have to declare that income
Yes,
when he's filing his or her returns.
yes.
Okay. Mm, that's good to know. Sure. Moving on, I have another question from Amol. He wants to know, what are the taxable and non-taxable components in a salary?
I have already discussed in my PPT that there are some exemptions or relaxations given to salaried people, like they can claim house rent allowance exemption, leave travel allowance exemptions. There are amounts of certain amount they can claim as mobile reimbursement on monthly basis, books and periodical reimbursements on periodical basis. Monthly food coupons allowances can be given by their employer. Children education allowance is given to them. They must opt for PF deduction. Employer's share of PF is always deduct uh, counted as ATC deduction, and employee's share is not. Employee's share is always exempt, and employee's share is counted as ATC deduction. So these are the some components which are available to salaried person, and they should ask for it from your employer that include these in their CTC. So they should ask for design their CTC like this. They should have these reductions. They can claim these allowances.
Yes, in fact, many companies these days are giving a very tax-friendly salary structure, so that whatever little bit you can save on tax, it always helps. Where like in the form of maybe food coupons, reimbursement of your fuel bills. So I guess many companies have started adopting to a tax-friendly structure right now.
Yes.
Another question we have is, how do you think income tax in India is utilized for our own country's development? Where does the government use our tax money?
A finance minister on every budget day gives her or his report, so where these how much they have collected in their income tax portion or GST portion, how they are allocating those funds in development of our country, be it infrastructure development or health, education, or that our farmer for the upliftment of our farmers. So these are all areas of the development where our income tax goes for our country's development.
And what is your view? How do you think income tax has, evolved over the years? Since so many years, we keep talking about income tax. So how do you feel it's changed through these years?
This act has came on 1961. So almost 60 years has been passed. I would say that rate of tax has not been changed much, but the number of taxpayer has been changed drastically, and the amount of collection as income tax, which the government is earning as a revenue, is changed, increased drastically. So the act is very old, of last 60 years. Some amendments they are taking on every budget, but आज जैसे अपना इंडिया बढ़ रहा है, अपने टैक्स पेयर बहुत बढ़ रहे हैं, सैलरीड पर्सन बहुत हो गए हैं, एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट जितनी होगी उतना ही टैक्स इनकम टैक्स कलेक्शन बढ़ेगा. तो ये सब चीज़ें काफ़ी आ गई हैं आफ्टर इस 60 सालों में. लास्ट 20 साल की भी बात करें तो 20 साल पहले 2000 में हमारे टैक्स पेयर अराउंड 1.5 करोड़ थे. आज वो टैक्स पेयर 9.5 करोड़ से इस तरह से बढ़ गए हैं. तो इट्स 900% ग्रोथ इन नंबर ऑफ टैक्स पेयर्स.
That's really nice. It's good that people have taken tax so seriously, and they are loyally paying tax to the government.
Yes.
After all, it's going to help our nation. Coming to our next question, we have what happens, what happens if I don't pay my taxes?
Again, I have discussed in my PPT, in my presentation, if you don't pay your tax, you will get a love letter from the income tax department that you will get definitely you will get a notice from them that you have invested in this amount areas and you have not filed your income tax return, and ultimately you have to pay that income tax due with interest and penalty.
Understand. Another question we have, people usually file their own returns these days. So there are some mistakes which one would make. So what are those common mistakes which are there, which could be avoided by somebody, when they're filing their returns?
First of all, they should all have to gather their bank statements, in all bank statements, not only one or two, every which they are having on that financial year. They should gather all the statements, count each and every line item, and then count this debits and credits. Mean total bank interest should be shown as a bank interest. You can claim always claim up to 10,000 ATTTA, but you must show that in those returns. If you don't show, you will definitely get a notice, because nowadays our you as you know that our income tax portal has been काफी नया रूप ले लिया है. नए रूप लेने के साथ साथ उसमें काफी नए इंफॉर्मेशंस भी हैं. टैक्स पेयर को पहले 26 AS सिर्फ दिखता था, जिसमें उसके टैक्स डिडक्शन की इंफॉर्मेशन होती थी, लेकिन आज के दिन में उनको अपने सारे इन्वेस्टमेंट्स के मिलेंगे. उन्होंने म्यूचुअल फंड में कितना इन्वेस्ट किया है, कितना बाय परचेज सेल सब मिलेगा उनको. तो ये सब सारी चीज़ें उनको गो थ्रू करनी पड़ेगी. कैपिटल गेन प्रॉपर देखना पड़ेगा कि कब कब शेयर्स में इन्वेस्ट किया था, कब बेचा, कब खरीदा. वो सारा स्टेटमेंट उनको गैदर करना पड़ेगा. इतना भी इजी नहीं है कि 2 क्लिक में रिटर्न फाइल हो जाएगा. You all have to gather all this information, compile it, and then prepare your income tax return. डिविडेंड इनकम भी पहले आते थे जो नॉन टैक्सेबल थे, आज के दिन में वो टैक्सेबल हैं. तो ये सब चीजें जो हैं आपको फिर पहले से गैदर करनी पड़ती है, एंड देन आपको कोई भी एडिशनल टैक्स लायबिलिटी है उसको पेमेंट करके देन यू कैन फाइल योर रिटर्न.
Got it, ma'am. Got it. And I guess you would have covered this in your PPT, but there's a question that who all are required to file their returns. There is this tax slab wherein below, if your income is below 2.5 lakhs, you don't need to file your returns. But is that true, or is it good as a citizen, like even if your income doesn't fall in the taxable bracket, you file your returns?
I have shown that if you are not income is not reaching that 2.5 lakh level, but again when you go for home loan, you will not be able to take home loan if you don't file your income tax return for a small amount only. If you like say if your income is 2 lakh, up to 5 times 2 lakh into 5, 10 lakhs you are eligible as a home loan, but the bank will not provide you loan unless and until you present them with 3 years of return. So there are conditions, or there may be the benefits of filing a return, whether you are under 2.5 lakhs ambit or not. You should file your return. You can get a term loan. You can avoid penalty if by mistake you have not counted your total income and it is more than 2.5 lakhs. Then you definitely will get a notice from the department.
Okay, ma'am. Last question we have is, what is that major stark difference between the old regime and the new regime?
This point also covered in my PPT, that old regime and the new regime. There is a slab rate changes in the new regime. The government has came up with the new tax regime with in a view of that कि लोगों को टेक होम ज़्यादा मिल पाए. कई लोग होते हैं कि वो रिडक्शंस अवेल नहीं करते हैं या LIC प्रीमियम अफोर्ड नहीं कर पाते हैं, कि उनकी सैलरी ही इतनी नहीं होती कि वो LIC प्रीमियम पे में इन्वेस्ट कर सके, या जो 1.5 लाख का मैंने ATC पर डिडक्शन का आपको बताया था उनमें कहीं भी इन्वेस्ट कर सके. तो उनके लिए ये डिमेरिट हो जाती है कि एंड ऑफ द डे वो डिडक्शन भी नहीं क्लेम कर पा रहे हैं और टैक्स भी ज़्यादा पेमेंट करना पड़े. तो उनके लिए गवर्नमेंट ने एक अपॉर्चुनिटी दी कि आप न्यू टैक्स रिजिम में ऑप्ट कर सकते हैं. उसमें स्लैब रेट 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, ये नए स्लैब रेट्स लेके आए हैं गवर्नमेंट ने. सब they can opt for it and pay less tax. But those who can invest in ATC deductions, ATC eligible qualifying investments, then it is good that you follow the old tax regime, because you can save your hard-earned money for investing on those deductions. Got it?
Yes, I understand. I had one question from my end. If you could explain more about exemption of house rent allowance.
Okay. House rent allowance is given to employees. Okay. It's there are certain limits. Rent paid, uh, rent 40% on non-metro city and 50% on metro city, and rent paid minus 10% of your adjusted gross total income. Means if you are having a basic salary, monthly basic salary of 50,000, okay, and you are paying rent of 30,000 per month, then how you can claim the house rent allowance? You are paying 30,000 as the rent, so 30,000 is one amount. Your total gross basic salary is 50,000, means 50,000 का 40% होता है 20,000, तो एक अमाउंट आया 20,000, एक था 30,000 जो रेंट पेड, और एक 20,000, और एक और आता है रेंट पेड माइनस 10% ऑफ योर बेसिक सैलरी, 30,000 माइनस 5,000, मतलब 50,000 जब आपका बेसिक रेट था, तो ये आता है 25,000। तो आपके पास तीन आ गए, रेंट पेड, एक्चुअल रेंट पेड आ गया, रेंट पेड बेसिक सैलरी का 40% और रेंट पेड माइनस 10% ऑफ बेसिक। 20,000, 25,000 और 30,000 ये आता है, तो इसमें से आप 20,000 हाउस रेंट अलाउंस में क्लेम कर सकते हैं इफ यू आर गेटिंग हाउस रेंट अलाउंस फ्रॉम योर एम्प्लॉयर।
Okay, thank you. I understood it. Thank you for clarifying. So I guess this brings us to the end of the session. Is there, thank you so much, first of all, for taking out the time from your busy schedule and, spending time with us and interacting with our audience, guiding them on a very relevant topic today, which is pertaining to tax. Any last words you would like to tell the audience pertaining to tax?
रिस्पॉन्सिबल सिटीजन बनिए, रिटर्न मस्ट जरूर से फाइल कीजिए और बड़े ध्यान से फाइल कीजिए, और लास्ट डेट 31 दिसंबर 2021 है, और मार्च 2022 तक आप फाइल कर सकेंगे ये रिटर्न, इसके बाद आप फाइल नहीं कर सकेंगे।
Okay, I thought it is till 31st December 2021.
31st December 21 is a due date.
Okay.
But beyond due date also you can file, but that date is also 31st March 2022.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you so much for clarifying.
After March 2022, you cannot file your return for this financial year 2021.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Shikha. Thank you for joining us today and contributing to our knowledge and learning. Hope everybody in the audience also found the session interesting and found it useful to plan your year well with the different tax saving instruments available. Tax planning is for everyone, and planning ahead can really help you, file an accurate return and avoid processing delays, and also which can slow down your tax refund process. And I would just leave you with this thought that the last day of filing taxes is approaching soon. Complete your tax filing and begin the year on a good note. So thank you everyone for joining us for our Tax Hacks first live session today. We'll be back again next week covering a different topic related to tax. So thank you, Ms. Shikha, and thank you for being a wonderful audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiraz, and thank you, Huja Generally.
Thank you, ma'am.